Welcome to the Storm Before the Calm podcast. I am your host, Lori Grace Bailey, and today I have a guest, one of my friends who is a local Arizona chaser. She's not local because she goes all over the place now, too, but she's an amazing photographer. She's award winning. We're going to get into all that. But I wanted to have this podcast so we can start highlighting some of the amazing chasers that don't just focus on the plains, but have also been capturing incredible lightning in the desert Southwest and during the season, what it's known as the monsoon. We're going to get into that. And I just want to welcome you, Donna Ruthruff, to the podcast. How are you doing today, Donna?
Great. Thank you so much, Lori. Thank you so much for having me with you today.
I'm just excited to finally start sharing our passion. We're the us monsoon chasers are kind of the stepchild of the storm chase world. So I want to change that. I think we're doing that already though, because I see a lot of storm chasers, you and I that who know the plains chasers, the people that have just been chasing tornadoes and that made storm chasing so popular, are also starting to visit us out there in Arizona, right?
Right. Yeah.
How
Why not? It's incredible here. There's nothing like chasing in the desert, really. It's incredible.
What do you mean by that? Like, what makes it so special? I was gonna ask that later, but, Donna is a photographer, by the way. How long have you been a photographer, and when did you and let's just get right into it, too. We don't wanna bore people. How long have you been a photographer, and when did you jump into storm chasing? Let's get into that because it's really special to you. You and I have a very tight bond when it comes to, doing this for our souls as well, right?
Absolutely. So I don't really know how to answer the whole photographer thing. I was great with a cell phone. I did not consider myself a photographer. But 6 years ago, I discovered that they actually chase storms in Arizona. And all of a sudden, I threw my heart and soul into it. So 6 years ago, I had no idea what a f-stop was. Like, no
Right.
idea. I could not shoot in RAW I didn't even know what RAW meant 6 years ago. So everything was in auto. I did have a camera. It was an Canon XTI that my husband bought at Costco for me, probably in around 2006.
That was my first digital camera as well, the XTI,
Yeah,
the Canon.
it
12
was great.
megapixels.
Yep, and the ISO went to 1600. So that's what I had in 2019.
Wow.
Yeah. So I don't know. Life is a series of events and little things happen in life that all of a sudden, like, your passions change, and then,
Yeah.
yeah, this is what happens.
Right, right. We kind of are thrust into you take one picture and you're like, "That's kinda cool."
Yeah.
It's more than and back then, you're talking about, years ago when, our cell phones were taking pictures like they were shot off a potato or something, right? You know, it's taken time for the cell phones to catch up, even though, I've taken some pretty really good pictures with my cell phones lately too, despite all the cool Sony gear I have.
Lightning was a little challenging on a cell phone, but I found that there's if you just hold it down and it will just take mass amount of photos and you hope that you catch something in there.
Right.
But yeah, it's amazing what 6 years has done. Uh, but the desert, once you're out there, it's addictive. So
Do
that's
you feel that release? By the way, not gonna lie, I've met Donna out in the middle of nowhere, east of Tucson sometimes, west of Tucson. Storm chasers tend to do that too. We tend to find our little spots with really great compositions, and then we wait for the storms, and then we kind of converge. Sometimes we converge on certain spots, and I see a lot of Donna a lot of the time, a lot of the time out there too. I see you, and we end up meeting, and we're like, "How's it going?" And you're like, "Ah, life's tough," and I'm like, "I know, life's tough." This storm, wow, and then we both leave, we're like or I'll leave, I'm like, "This sucks." I'm like, I think I know a lot about weather," and you're like, "I'm just gonna stick around." And then I leave and you're like, "Oh, hey, check this photo out," and things go bonkers at sunset, and I'm driving home. This sucks. I hate storm chasing, I quit, and you're getting these great shots. That's
that one
happened a
night
lot, by the way.
that one night in Vail a few years back was into you, and it was like and then you're like, I'm headed home."
Yeah,
And then it just broke loose at sunset. It was
like
amazing.
nonstop bolts, you got dozens of shots, I think, if I remember.
Yeah. But
It
I think you got
happens.
some in Rio Rico that night.
Yeah, I do. Where I live in Rio Rico, down near the border. south of Tucson, we get a lot of lightning, so much lightning that my house, both of the trees that we planted when we had our kids, we planted a tree for each kid. One was a live oak and the other was a willow. They both got struck by lightning. They're gone. They both got completely. And then our roof was struck by lightning, and we had to replace the roof. So, or the roof tiles, and they had to fix the hole in the. And then I was struck by like, so maybe it's me. I don't know. Maybe someone's
Maybe
trying to smite me or Zeus is pissed or something, I don't know. But let's
fate,
talk about
your fate of being a lightning photographer and, like,
that's
you had no
true.
other choice.
Something was telling me, "Hey, you're gonna love this stuff." And what about you? You were a photographer or you kind of just stumbled into photography, you started liking taking photos?
Yeah.
And when did you start realizing that these digital cameras could point at the sky and that if you learn the settings, that you could capture some really amazing images?
Well, I'll tell you how I fell into storm chasing, and that's when I decided to learn how to use a camera. Okay. You know, life, you just roll with life. I'm from Washington originally, moved down to Tucson many, many years ago. Had no idea about the monsoon when I moved down here. So back in Washington when I was a kid, I had some very adventurous parents, and as a kid, when there's a big storm, they'd load us up into the station wagon and we'd go out in the storm, in the windstorm, looking.
Griswolds
Yeah.
go on storm vacation?
Yes. So we called it looking for devastation, not that we wanted there to be devastation, but we'd go out looking for downed trees and limbs and
Oh, cool.
have no idea why. I mean, we were little. There was me and my brother and sister, and we were little kids back in the day. So I call them the original storm chasers in my life. So when they complained
Cool.
about chasing lightning, I'm like, you guys taught me. So, but yeah, then I moved down here to Tucson, scared to death of lightning because I'd never seen anything like it. Like, I remember my husband worked nights, I worked days. I was home alone at night, and these storms would hit, and it was it was terrifying, but I remember there was life happens, and I was rear-ended in 2018 in January. I was at a stoplight and a car hit me and, ended up in a lot of pain. At first, it didn't seem that bad, but then ended up I had, like, serious neck issues, and before that, I was a runner, loved to backpack, hiking, like, all kinds of adventurous things. And all of a sudden, you're in pain and kinda life takes a turn and, like, you realize you can't do the things you did before. And for me, like, a life without adventure is not worth living. Like, I need to go do stuff. So I was it was terrifying. In July of 2018, while I was going through all this, there was a really big monsoon storm in Marana, and it derailed a train. I don't know if you remember that storm or not.
I was on a mountain doing a piece with, one of the local media outlets on the monsoon, and they chased with me the whole day. Started
Wow.
off on the other side of town out by, Marsh Station, and we ended up there, and he's doing a report on me, and he goes, "My, producers say I have to go. There's a train that derailed up in Marana." So were you up there?
So I was in the Tucson mountains, not far from where the derailment was,
Wow.
and it hit our house. That storm hit our house, and that was the scariest storm ever. I remember it was just like I just couldn't wait for it to be over. And then later, I was looking at pictures online, and I found a picture by Kevin Rimkowski looking towards the Tucson mountains, and it was like this supercell over, maybe not a supercell, but the cell over the Tucson mountains, and it was just green.
Mhm.
And I was just like, wow, like, what an incredible picture. And there was no lightning in it, but it was just this green storm. And so it kind of took me down the rabbit hole of looking at all, different comments on it. And then it took me to Greg McGowan's. I can't remember if it probably Instagram. And then from there, like looking at comments, and all these people seem to know each other. And it's like the light bulb switched on. Like, what? They storm chase in Tucson? Like, what? Like, it was, like, instant. Like, I knew, like, these are my people.
Nice.
Of
I
course, I
love
didn't know
it.
how to operate camera, but then we're in the middle of monsoons by then, and then, like, monsoon's over and still dealing with my neck. I end up having cervical spine surgery, so that's what this lovely incision here is.
Goodness.
I had a, neck fusion. And, it was just a really, really tough time in my life. Like, just
Wow.
like, I'm not going to be able to run. Who knows what I'm going to be able to do? My life is over. Like, really depressing. But by June, you had set up a Monsoon con. And so I signed up for that and I went. I didn't know anybody. And I sat smack dab in the center of the room.
Wow.
And I
This
had
was
my
in
notebook.
2019, right? The 2019 one?
2019, and I took notes, and I that was, like, the most amazing day for me, and I remember Greg McGowan,
Wow.
keynote speaker, and he spoke like, "Get to know people."
Mhm.
I'm like, everybody was friendly, everybody seemed to know each other except me, I didn't know anybody. I didn't
Oh,
talk to one person that day. It was, like, a really weird feeling, but I was, like, honed in on it, but,
yeah.
so
So,
I
by the way, people who are listening, you said you went to this Monsoon Con thing. What is Monsoon Con? What do you know Con is? It's a convention, by the way. I'll let you explain it.
So it's a storm chaser convention in Tucson. Have them every couple years, but it's awesome because they talk about what you need to storm chase. Every a lot about safety, like how to do this safely, where to go, what settings on your camera to use. So went home, bought a trigger, lightning
Oh,
trigger,
wow.
threw myself into it. Now that first year, 2019 is officially my first year storm chasing, which meant like go to a couple spots and hope to catch a picture. I think I got a couple pictures in 2019. I was still learning how to use a camera and,
Yeah.
you know, what
Discouraged time and time again early on?
yeah, like, I had a terrible time with focus
Mhm.
and trying to figure out how to get focused, and then a lot of times the trigger wasn't going off. I had no idea what I was doing wrong, and it was pretty frustrating that first year.
Come to think, when was the Bighorn fire? The Tucson.
2020.
Oh, it was 2020. Because you said out of focus, and Donna has, like, I'm gonna call you out on this because it's funny, we can laugh about it now.
It is funny.
So, Donna, I'm not gonna let you get get away with this one because if you're a local resident of Southern Arizona, the Bighorn fire was one of the largest fires in Southern Arizona in years, and Donna just so happened to be taking pictures of a lightning storm, of a thunderstorm in the evening. Can you tell us a little bit about that? I know you've told the locals over and over, usually yearly, they interview Donna for this report talking about the monsoon. Tell these new viewers about the Bighorn Fire and your experience with that.
My word. Okay. Well, I learned early off in, lightning photography that you never know if a bolt is gonna be significant until later. But, yeah, there was a beautiful storm coming from the south to the north along the Catalinas that night, and so I was set up and taking photos of this storm. Actually, I had just bought a new camera. So I had just got my Sony A7 III and
Nice.
I was trying to figure out how to use it. And again, I was having serious focus issues. And so I was like thought I was in like pretty good focus, but I thought, "You know what? I'm just going to try to get it better." And so I'm like messing with the focus when here comes this bolt that turns out to be significant because it hit the mountain and caught it on fire. And that was the one bolt that came while I was trying to figure out this focus. So it's out of focus. It's a horrible photo.
To you, but it's significant because it happened to be the lightning strike that hit the mountain that ended up sparking this major fire that essentially ravaged the northern section of the Coronado National Forest, right?
Yeah. And I guess it did document the time it happened.
Oh, yeah.
As the evening progressed, you could see the fire progressing. But yeah, that photo haunts me because every year it's like in the paper or in the a news, local news, like, and they'll have beautiful photos from everybody else. They'll have, "Oh, look at this. These are lightning photos of, you know, and then here's Donna Ruthruff, and they show like I am that photo. Like it's horrible. I'm like,
It's
I
funny
can
though,
pictures than this.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny because we laugh about it now and you're just like, "Ah, I was I that that's not me in my prime," but people keep going back to because of the significance of it, right? And I think, nowadays, they it really doesn't matter. Like we all if you're a photographer like myself and Donna, we pixel peep, right? We want that ultimate sharp. We want the best composition. We're trying so hard. And then someone comes around, we might capture this amazing dust storm or something. And all these thousands of dollars in gear. And then someone comes up and, just down the street takes a picture of the Taco Bell sign and the power lines and the dog running up and down the street, and they captured the same thing, but that goes viral, and it turns out it's all over the news, and you're like, "Well, you know, my stuff." So we focus so much on trying to get the best image. I get that as a photographer. We want the best quality image, but remember, like, the things the videos that I watched where I became passionate in chasing storms or wanting to chase were those old videos, right? The tornado videos on VHS, and there was like a whole catalog, and it was just people, the old dads running with their big old, VHS camcorders. Oh, it's coming, and then she's like, "John, get inside the house." He's like, "Almost, Bethany, just close the door," and then things start, and we become fixed on these kind of things. And those were really crappy videos, man. I mean, compared to today, but we don't care because it's the story, right? And we all have that story to tell. You captured this really great photo. In hindsight, I know you really wish that you had just dialed in the focus a little bit more, but it's still a really significant photo, and unfortunately, you got to deal with that, though,
That bolt. Why couldn't have been the bolt after that or before
right?
that? But
And that's
yeah,
what we do as storm chasers also. I really loved what you said earlier, and I'd like to focus on that just for a second. You said something to the effect that, if I can't live an adventurous life, I don't wanna live if I can't live with some adventure in my life, basically. And that's powerful. Like, I'm the same way. That's why I do these podcasts, because there's more to it than just photography, right? Yes, that's the exciting element, the lightning, all that other stuff. But you said that you were a runner and you were an avid outdoors person and all that stuff, so you gained that passion, you found a new passion. Yes, it's a little dangerous. Even the monsoon can still be dangerous, right?
totally. Lightning is unforgiving. If it you know that, but it's you don't mess around,
Right.
even though we do.
Very true.
I mean, we do as safely as we can, though.
Well, that being said, so what's so special and passion what's so special about the Arizona monsoon? And I know there's a lot that encompasses. You already mentioned that there's such a cool community there that you felt welcome, that you felt like, "Ooh, there's my tribe," right? You said, "Wow, I found this really cool group of people." Thankfully, I'm so glad that you found that, and I was afraid to be in that group among these other greats that you see on TV or on the media or sharing incredible images. And then you meet people like Greg, right? Or you meet Kevin Rimkowski, even that you've already mentioned names, and they're just the coolest people out there. You're like, "Hey, Greg. Hey, Lori." And then you look at Greg's setup. By the way, we got to show you some of Greg's new adapters for his cameras. And he's got 3, 4 cameras on one tripod. And you little, that's how you get all these amazing photos. And then you start to talk to Greg and people like that. For the most part, people are so cool.
They are very cool. I know in March of 2020, there was like a get together out at Gabe Zimmerman Trailhead,
Oh, yeah.
and I went out there. It was like the eating the hot wings get together.
I have that video. I can link it here if you haven't seen that. It's pretty funny. I
But yeah,
lost.
it was honestly, I had studied everybody's work so much, like looking at everybody's photos. Like, since I didn't know about photography, I put myself on a crash course to learn everything I could as fast as I could. I studied everybody's photos. So by the time I went to that get together, I knew who everybody was. Like, oh, that's Sparky. Okay, I know his photos. There's Lori. Oh, I know all Lori's photos. But I felt like you guys are all celebrities to me. Like, I was just like, I am like around greatness. I would just like to be as good as any of these people.
That's so cool.
It was really, really fun to finally like see people and talk to people and get to know people better. And then I signed up for a workshop with you and Greg McGowan.
Mhm.
And then there was, like, hardly any storms that year. It was a really rough year, 2020 was. So every time the workshop was supposed to happen, it got canceled.
Well,
So
that's right.
I ended up going with, John Serlin and Greg McGowan, and, mostly because I was chasing by myself. I didn't know where to go.
Mhm.
I would had this little tiny circle of where I was going because I didn't know anywhere, and I wanted to kind of venture outside my comfort zone, and, so, yeah, that day we went all the way to Safford. It was an amazing day. I got home at midnight, I think. It was an awesome day. I learned so much, and if anybody's starting out, I totally recommend doing a workshop with Lori, with Greg McGowan, John Serlin, any of them. Like, just get out there, learn from the professionals because it was one of the things that helped me the most that year.
That's awesome, and, that's really the cool thing about it is that you don't have to pretend to know how to do all this. It takes some practice, but there are so many people willing to share that information, and the other cool thing is you can also take monsoon workshops, or there are storm workshops. You can also chase tornadoes on the plains, by the way, in relative safety. Of course, any of these kind of things, there's always a risk, of course, right, that you're gonna get hit by a car or struck by lightning or something. So you do sign waivers and all that, and you're gonna jump into the adventure, right? The soul craves adventure.
Yeah,
And that's been healing, without getting too much into specifics. We have these conversations and then I find out, oh, I was talking to Wendy. She was going through some stuff, but you know what? She got out there and we just enjoyed a storm together and then went home and, maybe we hold space for each other for just a moment. I don't have to be I don't have to tell you the answers to your problems. I probably don't have them, but just holding space for each other and just kind of being there, or you're by yourself even on your own storm. I see your dots sometimes, by the way. I'm like, Donna's all by herself on this freaking sunset storm out by Avra Valley somewhere. And I bet, like, even if you don't get the shot, even if your trigger doesn't capture the photo, I bet you're just going, oh, and then you'll send you'll post some phone pictures or something. I'm like, I would have loved to have just been in that moment because it's rewarding, right?
absolutely. Being out there in the desert, especially at sunset. Now, I work an 8 to 5 job, so I am having fun all day long when you're all out there chasing the daytime storms. But as soon as 5 o'clock hits, I'm out the door, headed to wherever the best sunset's gonna be. I don't know. There's something about seeing the sunset, the rain's coming, the smell of the desert. And it's usually really hot out in the summer, so it's like the rain is or the desert's almost sensing that relief coming, and it's just, like, waiting in anticipation of the rains, and I don't know, you can just I don't even know how to explain it, but it's just something about the desert in the summertime, and it's very
Love it.
active in the desert.
The wildlife even, you can hear the
Yeah,
birds, right? And the
the
crickets are
birds,
buzzing.
and I love being out there at sunset in the evening, and there's owls, and there's little mice running around, and
Thanks.
snakes and the nighthawks. The nighthawks are amazing. They swoop around,
Right.
then you're watching the storms come and the sun go down. I don't know, it feeds the soul. I never regret going out, never, even if I don't get a bolt, because you just I know you understand what I'm saying.
I absolutely do. That's why I'm just quiet because I love hearing other people because it's just so relatable. I've shared some of my story with people and some of my audience. There's a lot I haven't shared too, but man, I just remember the darkness. I remember being on the other side of that bridge and just going, and I'm going through so many different things. I just don't see a way out over time with support and all sorts of things. It's not just storm chasing doesn't make everything better necessarily, but it's one avenue, and, it's such an incredible depression lifter. When we're down in the dumps and we go out there and we just get outside of the city, the problems don't necessarily go away, but it gives you a new perspective. And I know that I've seen that time and time again with other storm chasers.
And you never know what time you're gonna go out when you are gonna get the epicness.
Right.
You like, you don't know what you're gonna get when you go.
And what about the fact is we're talking about, oh, we're getting these epic shots and great people and good times. Fact of the matter is though, what's the truth about storm chasing? It's not all fun and games. It's major defeat. watching FOMO, right? Fear of missing out. You've seen, "Hey, Lori got this check this out, Donna, I got this incredible shot in Rio Rico." And how do you feel? You're going, "Oh, crap, man." I went to Marana and the storms went off in Douglas. I went to Douglas and storms went off in Tombstone. That's the majority of storm chasing are the losses. What makes that special when you end up hitting big, hitting pay dirt, getting 3 shots that you're really happy with out of all the thousands you've taken?
I don't know, like, I know this year was tough for me, and I know there was a few weeks in there, I'm like, "I just don't know if this is for me." Like, why do I do this? Why like, I just make life so hard on myself because. Like, I put so much pressure on myself, like and I don't know why I do it, but it's like I wanna be out there, I wanna get that epicness, and then when I don't, it, like, day after day wears on me, and I'm like, I don't know if I
Yeah.
want to do this anymore, this is hard," and that was happening this year. I was like, "I think I'm gonna quit. I think this is my last year. It's never gonna happen, but I think this is my last year." And then, like, Saturday comes around, and I'm like, like, I see, like, a cloud out there, and I'm like, looking at radar, and I'm like, "Okay, okay, well, I'll just go out one more time." And that was the day that ended up on A Mountain at the gate, and,
Okay.
up to I think you were there, I think a bunch
I
of
think
people
I
had.
pulled up right after you got the shot because you were like, "Yeah, I got this shot." I was like,
I was
"Done again." No, just kidding.
I was like, it's like a hunch. I had texted a bunch of my friends, like, on my way down there. I'm like, "Hey, I'm headed to 8 Mountain. Where's everybody at? What are you doing?" It's like and then I got up there and I'm like I was at the top at the park and I'm like watching it and I'm like looking at radar and I'm like, "I think I can get the shot that I've been hoping to get," which is at the gate. It's a little different view of downtown Tucson.
Is this the shot that you shared with me, one of the shots?
Is, yeah.
I'm
So
gonna let me see if I can do that. Yeah, this. So I'm gonna share this screen here.
I raced back down to the gate, set up as fast as I could, and then that's when the storm hit.
Right. Okay, here we go. We got both of us on the sides. Let's run down a couple of these too, and then I wanna stay with this topic of perseverance as well because we talked about that it's you don't always get these shots, Donna, but holy smoke. I have a picture of a rainbow and this cool looking you can see the hail in there, a little bit of iciness, in this storm. So tell us about this. And by the way, if you're listening via audio, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to go to the video section to watch this or go to Donna's Instagram, which I'm gonna link and we'll talk about here in a second. But she's just gonna describe what those watching the video podcast are seeing. And you got this shot. This is downtown Tucson. Tell me a little more about this. I think I was driving up and I saw the bolts out of the side of my eye. And I
Yeah,
was like,
yeah. So this is on the road going up to A Mountain. A Mountain is like this little mountain, I mean, hill, I guess, next to downtown Tucson. It has a big A on it for University of Arizona.
right.
There's a park at the top. So a lot of us go and hang out at this on this hill. Um, but I raced back down to the gate to go up to the hill and you could see it's like a kind of a unique view of Tucson through the hill there. And
Look at that strike too, by the way. Like this bolt struck it looks like a power line because you see the looks like the transformer lighting up, blowing up as you zoom in. Oh man, that's pretty close too. Did you hear the thunder of that?
yeah. Oh yeah, it felt like it was pretty close. Yeah. And then like having a rainbow is just you know,
Rainbow and lightning is, you know what, that generates more, likes than any other photos, that I've ever posted. If I post a rainbow and lightning, people are like, "Once in a lifetime," and I'm like, "Well, I kind of," we learn being storm chasers, we learn that we want that sun at our back, and we want that storm to be east of us so that we get a rainbow and then hopefully lightning, so you
yeah.
did, you nailed that. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
and I think there was like I don't know how many of us, 10 of us there or less, I don't know. But
I
I
don't
think I
remember.
was the only one that got the shot.
I got nothing. I left.
But it's
So,
like when you're about to give up and then you get something like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I love this. I'm never leaving. I'm always gonna be a chaser."
right? Yeah. So, in the fact of the matter is, I remember this year especially, like, I got a few good shots. I did alright this so this is Nara Vista, June 7th. I was here too. I was on this storm. It was amazing. I spent, like, 3 or 4 days on the plains this year, and I got this, and I got a tornado the very next day north of Amarillo near Felt, Oklahoma, and that was amazing too. But
This
you got this freaking light I didn't get this bolt. I didn't even get this bolt. So how did you anticipate this, and how did you set this shot up?
actually did anticipate this. Because a lot of like part of me wanted to focus on that supercell, but I could tell the rain shaft was to the right. So if there was going to be lightning, it was going to be to the right of it. So yeah, just wait for it. And it happened. I don't know. I have no idea how it happened. It
I mean,
just
that is crisp too. That looks like a positive bolt to me too. I don't know. I always call them they have the little T-Rex looking, branches and stuff. I don't know, that's just little arms of but who knows? That's just an epic that was the likely the storm supercell of the year, this mothership at sunset over,
I still see so many pictures from this night going through my feed. And it just, so many people got such amazing photos of this storm.
such a difficult shot too, by the way, Donna. How did you underexpose this shot? Because that sunlight was at times was really bright, and then are you going to expose for the storm or? So this little technical image, a lot of people can overexpose this if that sun is bleeding through on a lot of sunset shots.
I feel like I still overexposed it because that sun is blown out a little bit. But yeah, it was a little challenging for sure to get a good shot. And without power lines, because all those roads were lined with power lines. So
Mhm.
it was like trying to figure out a good spot.
So I actually drove ahead of you. My son is to the left of this storm because I didn't like all of the power lines and all the distractions. I wanted just to clear, and I finally found some little turnoff dirt road further south, and it turned out the only other person there was Mike Umscheid, who's a meteorologist in Kansas for the National Weather Service, and he was taking photos with a friend also, and it was amazing to see this. That's fantastic. And then this year?
That was this year. Yeah.
I hate you.
That
These are
was one of the
great.
funnest chases I had of the year. It was such a fun chase.
Why was it fun? Why was this particular shot fun? By the way, for those of you who are just listening, there's a saguaro in the foreground, and then there's 2 bolts of lightning on both sides, and then there's a rainbow to the left of that as well. It's just, perfect.
Yeah. I had, Jen Alvarado and Tina, but she's amazing herself. Tina came over, and then we met up with Beth McDaniel,
Mm.
and we drove up, we were actually hanging out in Marana, and it was like 110 degrees out, hardly a cloud in the sky, just waiting for something to happen. And then, we saw the clouds forming in the east, so we went up there and we went east. And, at first the storm's, like, 13 miles away, then it's, 9, 7, and it's getting closer, and the bolts are getting closer, and we drove down there looking for, like, I wanted the perfect saguaro. This one is tilted, which drives me crazy in all the photos, but, uh, looking for the perfect saguaro, nice setup, and then the bolts, it all came in, and the sun was setting, so it was getting darker, and, we were just having such a fun time, just in general, because we all have a good time when we're out, and then we finally had to retreat. We stayed as long as we could, but then it was like running for the car, throwing the gear in there as quickly as we can. We go up a few miles, jump out, set up the cameras. We thought we could outrun it. By the time we got set up, the bolts were dropping all around us. And so we got on the freeway and just got stuck in traffic. But right in front of us, semi blew over. And so
Wow.
we ended up stopping because Beth is a nurse and, Jen's a EMT, so we ended up stopping and they helped the guy. But it was
Wow.
just torrential rain. It was the thing ran us over. I mean, the
Right,
storm.
right.
The
But
guy
you did
was
the right thing too. You were able to get out of there in time, and do it safely, and but you also had the wherewithal to think, to think in advance, like, "Hey, we're gonna need to jump ahead of this and try to stay, try to stay relatively safe, away from the danger." And you ended up like it swallowed you. These people don't understand how fast some of these Arizona storms move, or they continue to build over you in a multicellular, multi-line system. And then before you know it, the storms, you're swallowed up by the storm.
Yeah, and
That's
it was
crazy.
pretty nasty storm. But, once we got through all that mess and that storm, that whole night was just incredible. But yeah, I came away with a good photo.
That's awesome. And I'll just go through a couple more here of
Yeah,
some of the ones that she shared
that was
here.
last year.
This was last year? Oh, in 2024, yeah.
One of my favorites.
And why is this one of your favorites?
Oh, just all the branching, um, the hitting the ground. I always think of the people under those bolts going,
Right?
but that woke you up.
I bet. And I love that the Catalinas, is that Push Ridge down there or
Yep. Yeah, that's probably near Sabino Canyon where the bolt
oh,
hit.
I see. Okay. Yeah, that's probably in right there.
Yeah.
Wow. These are lower resolution, by the way. She didn't give me the highest resolution so I could print them on my own and put them on my own wall and claim them. No, just kidding. But no, so some of the higher, and this was an award winner. You've won
Yeah.
a couple of awards. What did this win? This was the winner, right?
Yeah, that was lightning photo of the year last year.
From
It was
the storm photo of the Storm Photos of the Year contest?
yes. Yeah, in the lightning category. Um, yeah, that was another night, like, barely a cloud in the sky, and I was thinking that I'm not gonna get anything. And so, there was a rainbow, I was taking pictures of the rainbow, and then I saw this storm forming behind me,
Mhm.
and I was like, "Wait, what? Gotta go." Grabbed all my gear, took off, got up there just as it started spitting bolts. And man, that storm, those clear bolts out of that thing was amazing. Seemed like one of those nights nothing was gonna happen.
Wow. Well, you did, and, I know why this one won because you nailed the landing shot. You never know, right? You don't get to say, "Bolts land there," right? Most of the time, it's behind bushes, it's behind and for me, one of my biggest goals as a lightning photographer, I gotta have that right there,
Yeah,
Donna.
I
I
know.
gotta have where the bolt hits, whether it's the side of a peak, whether it's a tree, I want it. I don't like it when there are a bunch of bushes, mesquite shrubs. That's the that's 90% of Southern Arizona for a horizon is
Yep. I wanna see the landing points. I have
right.
so many photos I have never shared because there's no landing point.
I know, I'm the same. See, here's one
Ugh.
like, you almost
Yeah,
got a landing point. You
this
did
was
get it there.
this was back in 2020 or 2021, I think. But it's really like the first photo I got where I could see all the branching coming off the branches, like all those little detail. And like I was in awe, but that thing, that was pretty close. And
This is a was this near Marana also?
I was up in Casa Grande. We were
Okay.
standing in the PetSmart parking lot.
Wow.
But yeah, it was,
A lot of branches, a lot of lightning. And then this looks like, hold on a second. This looks like a Vale area. Am I
yep,
right?
yep. That is only a small portion of that bolt because it came from behind me
Holy
all
cow.
over my head and landed a mile in front of me. That's still to this day the scariest bolt I've,
You
like,
can
seen.
see it up here, and I love it. I love it when the bolts are really close, but it is dangerous also. Like, you just kinda count your blessings. You're like, "Today was not the day that I would leave this world. I would not perish, thankfully," but
That's the
man,
only bolt I've ever seen where I actually dropped to the ground and, like, stepped away from my tripod, like, "Ah." That was a
so
little nuts.
we do wanna advocate for safety, right? We want people to be safe, and we want
Yeah,
people to live
it's
to shoot again.
I was photographing, um, the storm out in the distance, and that's where the bolts were, so I don't know where this bolt came from. It was one of those
Wow.
stray bolts. I
It
don't know.
happens, bolts from the blue sometimes. And then
Yeah.
finally, one last shot if you're still
One
listening to
last
the
shot.
audio.
This
Yeah,
is like my first real lightning shot. So this was in 2019.
Nice.
Everything up to this was just a struggle, and I was like, "I don't know about this." And then this was in July of 2019. So one of my very first shots. A little grainy, it's with my XTI.
Yeah. But you didn't let it stop you though, you know?
No,
I tell people don't let the gear stop you from getting out there.
you know what? It's not the gear, it's the photographer. You can have top of the line gear and still be a terrible photographer. It's
Right.
not the gear that I mean, it does matter because
Mm,
my Sony, like, does so much more than the Canon did. The
yeah.
XTI is what I'm talking about. It does so much more, but I didn't. I was just using what I had. So, don't let your equipment stop you.
Exactly. Have there been times when you face significant challenges or setbacks in your journey? And how did you navigate through them, with this whole storm journey?
Lots of setbacks. I mean, I think being discouraged is a huge setback. Like, when you're discouraged, you're just like, I don't want to know if I want to go out tonight. I've heard a lot of people say that. Several people this year have said, I'm just going to sell all my equipment. Like, no, don't give up. Keep going. Keep getting out there. You never know when the next. Plus, even if you don't get the shot, you're still feeding your soul. Like, just getting out there, enjoy the nature, enjoy the desert. You never lose if you go out.
I totally agree with that. I think it's important. How often do you often try to get with people and, chase with friends? Or do you just find it sometimes like you just need to be by yourself too and you just want to get out there and spend some time alone?
Yeah, I like it both ways actually. Like a lot of times I don't turn my dot on radar scope. I
Mhm.
just go out there because I just want to be alone, experience it. There's other times when there's a kind of a group of us that all get together and chase. And so, during the day, we'll check in with each other like, hey, are you free tonight? What are you doing? Are you going to be able to go out? What's going on? What's the models look like? And so we'll kind of plan ahead sometimes. A lot of times it's spontaneous though. So,
Mhm.
but we all love to chase. So we're usually all out there.
It's because the models missed, right? And then all of a sudden you're looking at the radar and all of a sudden something's magic is happening and you're going, "I gotta get out there right now," and maybe you reach out to somebody. For me, I try to, we have a Tucson Storm Chasers group. I'll try to throw out a screenshot or something and say, "Hey, something's happening. If you guys have your gear ready, you should get out there." What do you say to those people who are shy? I know one of the biggest problems that I think every one of us feel is like, well, I'm not welcome to be a part of that, or you know, I just don't know where if I fit in, right? How? I mean, you felt the same way, but people go,
Honestly,
Donna, I want to chase with Donna. She's you talked about celebrity. You're a celebrity. At the same time, people like will recognize you and they'll go, oh my gosh, it really doesn't mean much in the grand scope of things. Getting 100 likes or 1,000 likes on social media doesn't mean anything. Having 1,000 or 2,000 or 20,000 or 100,000 followers, it might mean monetization for you, but in the long run, you're still the same person, and none of this means things. We think of, "Oh my gosh, Donna's, lightning photographer of the year."
yeah. I think last year was the first year I had somebody stop by that actually knew who I was. And he was like, "Yeah, I follow you on Instagram." I'm like, "Really?" Like, he showed me, and I'm like,
That's cool.
"Well, that's cool," because that was the first time that's ever happened. But yeah, it's kinda interesting if uh, going back to what you were saying about, what if somebody wanted to chase like, we're all misfits, honestly.
Right?
Every single one of the people I chase with, we all feel like and honestly, I don't know. I was very shy to start,
Mhm.
but part of my whole thing about being safe was I wanted to know more people. So I got on Facebook into our Tucson Storm Chaser group. I was commenting on everything and I was the person stopping at the side of the road and introducing myself to people.
That's important.
And
It's
then
hard though. It's
it
hard to make
is.
that first step
It
because
is.
we
You know
we
what?
we hate rejection. We hate rejection.
I was so passionate about learning though that I was like, "Hey, are you a Tucson Storm Chaser? Like,
Oh,
who are you?" Because I was pretty sure I would probably know their photos because I've stared at everybody's photos for so long.
yeah.
But yeah, just trying to meet people. Any group get together there was, I was there trying to meet people. And it didn't take long before I think my second year, somebody came up to me and just said, "Do you chase alone? I chase alone. Do you want to team up?" And,
Mm.
off we went. And we had an amazing year. And yeah, just meet people. And everybody's super friendly, unless you're a jerk. And then if you're a jerk, that's it.
You
You
get
ain't
what you
chasing
give,
me
right?
anymore.
Yeah. What do you have a favorite because location or weather condition to chase?
Lightning, of course.
Well, you were at the Morton tornado. You guys so for those of
Yes.
you who don't know, Donna and a bunch of friends got together to decided to jump in a is it a bus or like one of those
It was a
smaller
Sprinter van.
Sprinter van, and they crammed themselves into a Sprinter van, and they drove into the plains, a bunch of Tucson area storm chasers, and they chased supercells and tornadoes, and they captured tornadoes and lightning and all sorts of cool stuff. And the Morton tornado, if you're a storm chaser, I'm sure
It
that
really
people
was.
were like, at the end of a week, you just need some break. It's funny
Yeah.
because every single group I've talked to, they're like, this
You
is
know
tough, man. It really is. But it's also a blast of fun.
yeah, I don't know, I think by the end, we were ready for a break, but honestly, the group I was with was amazing. Like,
Was it? It was a
I have
blast,
high
huh?
regards for every single one of them, so
And you learned so much, right, on that chase
yeah.
to the plains?
And you know
There's
what? We're all
different.
even though we're all so different, different backgrounds, like, everything about we're all different. We're all have the same passion,
Yeah.
and the passion is what brings us together of,
Mm.
"We love this, love it," and it's like, you don't have to beg anybody, "Oh, let's go," you know,
Yeah.
s you know, uh, we're
Ah,
all ready to
I
go.
love that. You're these one-liners that you're just spitting facts. It's the passion that brings us together, right?
Yeah,
Absolutely. We
and
don't
we
have
got
time for the toxicity and, the all the online drama. We don't have time for that. We've got our own problems. Everyone's going through their own hell. I love that, Donna. I love that so much about you and you sharing that part of this. That really brings together what this is all about and what I'm trying to accomplish with this too, because your story's pretty awesome. And as we wrap up here, I want to ask you a few more questions here, but what is your current pursuit? What is your current passion?
well, always more lightning. Like, I can never get enough of lightning. I love lightning. Okay, so I was on the Morton tornado, but, I really it was big, and I really wanna see one of those,
It was windy.
gorgeous tornadoes come down and photogenic. The part of the Morton tornado I saw was really a dust bomb,
Hmm.
and we were driving in dust, and that's my first tornado. That's my only tornado I've ever
Wow.
seen. It's the more start big, right?
Yeah, no kidding. You're like, what's all that dust? That's the tornado.
I'm like, "Where's the tornado?" And they're like, "It's right in front of you." Okay. And then the day after the Morton tornado, we were on it. It was beautiful. We just missed there was a little tornado. I can't remember the name of that town, but we just missed it. But we came out at I don't even know if I'm saying it right, but Tahoka, there was this
Hmm.
massive supercell we came out from under. I mean, it was dusty under there, and we came out, and, here it was this incredible supercell cloud. That was pretty incredible, and then to end up in, Narravisa. We were
Hmm.
also in Tucumcari, hopefully
Tucumcari. Yeah.
that supercell up there was incredible. Like, we just saw so many incredible things that week. It makes you wanna go back. So, hopefully someday I'll get back to the plains, hopefully this year, not sure yet. Bring
Awesome.
Monsoon, I'm ready. It can't come fast enough.
I love that. I'm the same way too. And we'll go into I think my last question for you is what's your bucket list? So you got a second to think about that. But what's your advice to people starting off as what's your advice to the first year Donna? That person that's coming in, they've all felt they're going through some stuff and they're like, I just don't know. I'm just gonna suck at this too, but I do love weather. I do love getting out of the city and being out in the boondocks, and I like cool people. I like other nerds that love storm chasing and all the stuff. This all seems to be my vibe, but do I fit in? What would you say to that person just starting out?
Uh, just go for it. Life is just so full of twists and turns, and sometimes it takes something in your life that just makes you pivot. And I never ever thought that this would be what my passion would be. I mean, 10 years ago, I would have never dreamed of being where I'm at today. It wouldn't have even been I had no idea, but life sometimes gives you storms, you know what I mean? Like,
Ooh,
you go
nothing
through those
like it.
storms, you don't know what's next, but the storm passes, and it's beautiful. Get out there, meet people, like, there is so many different people that storm chase, especially here in Tucson. The other thing is, like, I'm no spring chicken, so to learn photography at my age, like, I'm not it's like you're never too old to find a new passion, and you just need to grab it and go with it
Mm.
and roll with it. Because I don't know. I don't know what the future brings, but I'm ready for it and I'll roll with it.
There's a place for every personality in this gig, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's so many different personalities.
Mm,
And when you start talking about storms, it doesn't matter your background, it doesn't matter where you came from, it doesn't matter how much is in your pocketbook. It doesn't matter really a lot of different things. When you're passionate about the same things, you got something to talk about.
yeah.
We all go through stuff. Everybody's going through something.
Mm.
I think our van to the plains, I can't remember what we call it, but we're like the inside out gang or upside down inside out gang, I think is what we're calling each because everybody's in emotion. So we're all emotional. We all go through stuff, but really we're all here together.
And what advice do you have for the young women that are getting started? Like, are there are you an anomaly, especially in Arizona?
You know
But
what?
you
In
know,
Tucson, there is a lot of amazing female storm chasers. They're and they are good. And I think we're gonna see some great things from some of them that I see around me. But gender should not dictate your adventures. So
I love that
yeah,
exactly. There's
just
room for everybody.
there is. I got a lot on my plate. Like I work full time. I got a lot going on in life, but there's room for storm chasing.
You make it,
We make room for it. When we love something so much, we make room.
yeah. Plus, it's in Tucson. It's literally 3 months out of the year at best. 3.5 months is the monsoon, and then the rest of it is like going on right now during the winter. We're going, we're just
Oh,
counting and looking at all our photos again.
re-editing. Winters are really tough because it gets dark so early, and
Mhm.
I'm used to being out there in the nature and the desert. I am getting some hikes in because it's nice and cool, but
Awesome.
yeah, I'm ready for the heat. I never ever thought I would say that I love summers in Arizona.
I do not like the heat. That's the one thing I could go without, but at the same time, we need the heat. The
Yeah,
monsoon needs the heat. We need, those high temperatures, but we also need the moisture and all the other good stuff.
there's nothing better than feeling that cool outflow, though.
Absolutely. It's so, so, so exhilarating. Well,
Yeah.
let's do a quick lightning round before I let you go here, Donna.
Okay,
And if you're okay,
do it.
this is a pretty quick one for those of you sticking with us through this whole thing. You can find Donna on I had your Instagram, and I'm going to share that. But tell us where can we find your work before we get into the lightning round?
Donna Ruthruff Photography on Instagram. That's pretty
So
much
I
it.
am sharing that right here, and as you can see, DonnaRuthruff photography.
That's
Also,
it.
all right. So yes, we've got Donna's photos. You also chase wildlife, and there's some deer
Yeah.
like beating the crap out of each other on your page.
I think those are just the reels, though,
Oh, the
aren't they?
reels. Okay.
There's the photography. There
There's
we
the
go.
photography page. Look at this stuff, man. Some more awards. No, just kidding. Lots of saguaros. For me, I love to get me some saguaros. There's an Aravista storm again. I passed that little church. That's just a lot of amazing stuff. So there's her Instagram. So we're gonna end with this quick little lightning round. So what is the fastest way you capture lightning? There's a storm. Boom. You're sitting watching, episode 48 of Stranger Things, and all of a sudden Jen calls you, "Hey, what are you doing? Get out of your house. Let's go." How are you going to get from point A to point B and get set up and capture lightning?
I can set up pretty quick now, but yeah, gear's always ready to go. The tripod's in the car already. So
Nice.
grab the bag, grab the camera, off we go. Um, I'm there.
What do
Actually, I'd
you
probably
use?
be on the couch. I'd probably already be there.
What do you use to capture lightning, anytime during the day and the evening or the late afternoon? What kind of device do you use in addition to your camera? Or do you just use a long exposure and defilter?
I do have a lightning trigger 4, and I recently got a new bolt hunter, which I'm
Mm,
super excited to try out.
very cool. So you have the LT4 from lightninghunter.com, and you're trying out this new one, Bolt Hunter. Very nice. You got a Bolt Hunter. They're not quite out yet, so I won't ask any more questions because I don't know how you got a hold of that.
How
But,
did I get
okay. What's that?
I won it. I won it.
1-1.
Through the
Awesome.
Tucson Storm Chasers.
There you go.
Yeah.
Alright, so if you had a choice between to shoot either mountains or oceans,
Oh, goodness. Probably oceans because I never see them very much.
the mountains are so pretty.
I love the mountains too.
As long as they're not starting fires over Tucson. That's NATOs or structure. Or would you rather have the tornado or would you rather have that beautiful structure?
Structure with a side of tornado, please.
If you get the tornado.
With a lightning bolt.
And what's your favorite weather phenomenon?
Lightning.
Lightning, okay. That's kinda obvious if you look at our Instagram page. What's your favorite, time of day, sunrise or sunset?
Sunset with a
Sun
lightning bolt.
with the lightning bolt, I was gonna say. And what is the top item on your bucket list?
I really want that rope tornado, but we'll see.
So, nice, beautiful cone tornado,
Yeah, yeah.
ropes out and all that good stuff.
I won't
Wizard
complain
of
if
Oz
it's
tornado,
Morton,
right?
but what's that?
The Wizard of Oz tornado.
Yes. Yeah. I won't complain if it's a Morton, but, yeah, I really wanna see a rope out. Or not a rope out, but you know what I mean, like a cone swirling in the sky and reaching down and then pulling back up.
You're the only person, though, that I know that's like, I saw the Morton Dusty tornado and it was crap. I wanted something better, darn it." Everybody else was like, "That was Morton, are you kidding me?"
It wasn't crap, it was epic.
It
It was
was.
absolutely
It's
epic.
just so big, it's just a dirt ball.
My brain couldn't comprehend what I was seeing. Is
Right, right. It's hard, though, and it happens, so,
Yeah,
I'm just so grateful to have that opportunity. People fly from all over the world to jump in with other storm chasers like us to go out and chase the storms. In Arizona now, people are coming to Arizona to chase from all over the world as well because we have something special there. And I'm glad that you shared that. I'm glad that you're sharing that on your social media channels as well. And I've said this before, but I'm really proud of someone like you who has come through that journey in such a short amount of time and you're just getting after it. You're overcoming the challenges that you're facing and you're still getting out there. And to me, that's the ideal, right? Is we just keep putting one foot forward, one foot after the other, one battle after another. Yeah.
life's full of up and down and just grab it by the horns and go for it.
I'll end it with that. That's awesome. Go for it. So, Donna, thank you so much for joining me on the podcast here. I had a blast with this. And for those of you who don't know, you can follow us on Spotify podcast, Apple podcast, pretty much anywhere you're looking for podcasts. But I do have a video podcast. You're probably watching. Hopefully, you're watching this on YouTube on my Lori Grace AZ channel. But you can find the storm before the calm. And yes, I have it right. We call it the storm before the calm because we all go through that storm in life, right? And it's the storms when we get there where you feel the calm. It's always that stuff that drives us to chase. But the storms I want to hear about. So if you're interested in being on the podcast, send me a DM or send me a message and I have some more exciting news that I'll be revealing in the near future. But Donna, again, this was a great thing and I hope to see you more on the hills out there in Tucson,
You
not
will.
getting struck, but this coming year.
Thank you so much, Lori. It's been fun.
Thanks. Everybody, have a great one, and we'll see you in the new year.